only 2.5 people knew what's going to happen in Kashmir. You have to make history or create history to write history.
Good morning, everyone. It is such an extraordinary pleasure to have General KJ's Dhillon in our midst today. You just saw a brief of his spectacular career in the military, but I wanted to start with a small anecdote about a student. Before that, sir, welcome to this brief interaction. We are privileged to have you with us. So going back to this anecdote with a student, I remember a student once asking you, "Sir, how challenging is an army job?" To which you responded, "आर्मी एक जॉब नहीं है, मोहब्बत है, और मोहब्बत में challenges नहीं होते, अफसाने होते हैं." I think translated it means that the army is an unending love affair where there are only legends, not challenges. So I think that briefly summarizes you as a person, that the army, your profession, is something which is beyond the job, something which is beyond duty. It's just part of your life. It's something that you're in love with. It's something that you're passionate about. I think that is what defines you as a person. And it's so inspiring to have you with us this morning, sir. Thank you so much for joining. But I'd like to pivot now to your book, sir. I obviously have gone through Kitne Ghazi Aaye, Kitne Ghazi Gaye, which was a bestseller. But your newest book, sir, Wafadari, Imandari, and Zimmedari, From War Room to Boardroom, I think is an amazing book which covers three important values, of Wafadari, Imandari, and Zimmedari, which are so crucial to every organization. And I think the whole idea of having this conversation with you is to understand how have you carried some of those lessons in your life, and how do you think they can be translated to a corporate environment? Because a lot of us here in the room would be keen to hear that.
The book is basically the value system or the military ethos or leadership ethos which we imbibe during our service in the army, how it can be incorporated in the corporate world to increase their productivity. The three words which are used in the title, Wafadari, Imandari, Zimmedari, are basically vertical silos in which you can put any trait of human or an organization under these three words. And wafadari, imandari, zimmedari, say for imandari doesn't mean a few dollars here and there. Imandari in military is, as a leader, I should be so honest to my command, I should be so honest to my mission that I make a plan in which I achieve my mission and still no harm should come to my command. That is my junior officers, JCOs, and men who are moving behind me. Now, coming to your question proper, how do you handle the uncertainties of the task at hand or a mission at hand? See, we start with the premise because there is a live enemy who is trying to defeat us. He is equally good. Never underestimate your enemy. And he is doing all those things which we are also planning. So we start with the premise, and it is a military dictum that most well-laid plans do not survive the first bullet of the battle. Whatever you may plan during peacetime, the moment the first bullet is fired, first thing which becomes a casualty is your plan. Because the enemy would do something which is not as per your plan. So you have to straightaway come down to contingencies, eventualities, options, the alternate plans, the secondary plans. So during peacetime, to overcome the uncertainties of the war or the fog of war, or we may not have 100% information about an enemy, for the corporate people about a competitor, and we also may not have tested our own weapon systems in the peacetime 100%. Similarly, your product may not have seen the competition which it will see when it goes to the market. So those uncertainties you have to plan for. You cannot launch a product and then say, oh my God, the competitor had a better product, our product failed. Now do what? You have to have a plan B, you have to have a plan C, you have to work on the options, you have to work on the contingencies. So uncertainties will only be there if you have not planned for them. And if you have planned for them as the first thing which would hit you when you go to the market, then you will never fail.
Thank you for that, sir. It's so insightful. And I completely agree with you. Like they say, prepare or perish.
Yes.
And so preparation just means thorough planning, whether it's on the battlefield or in the boardroom. So I completely resonate with that, sir. I think that in the corporate world as well, you should never underestimate your enemy. There's so much of competition. It's a battlefield out there. But yes, if you're doing things with honesty, with purpose, and most importantly, if you're thorough in planning, then chances are that even in an uncertain environment, you will come out successful. So thank you so much, sir, for bringing that example. I now want to move on to something which is very recent in our memory, which is Operation Sindoor. I think Operation Sindoor showed the world how swiftly India can respond with precision and resolve. And while you weren't directly involved, what lessons from such operations on clarity of mission, interagency coordination, or rapid escalation control do you believe enterprise leaders can learn from?
Gaurav, all the three words which you used, to cater for a contingency, to have a control over the escalation, and how to come out victorious in a situation which may happen next second. It doesn't happen overnight. In the military, we always, everywhere in the world, we have so much faith in our militaries and our defense forces that they will produce the result even if we tell them now to do something. Giving a small example of when Indian military went for aid to Turkey when they were hit by an earthquake. Now, order was given, earthquake came suddenly, the orders came suddenly, and the orders were given to move, and we moved within few hours with a full complement of hospitals, doctors, nurses, medicines, and what have you. Now, how could that be possible? We were preparing for war, we were preparing for internal security, we were in peacetime, we were training for different things, and suddenly a situation as away from our primary task as going with the hospital to Turkey and be of assistance, humanitarian assistance to a third country. Now, in that situation, the military could not have told, sir, we are not prepared, or we can't do it, or we need 3 days to get together, get our act together, get our medicines together, and then move. So military is prepared for each and every contingency within the country and out of area contingencies also. Now imagine if we have to take example of something like Operation Sindoor, the full-fledged war, something like Pulwama, Pahalgam, or an earthquake, or what have you. So when Operation Sindoor was ordered, the military was prepared for all contingencies. Similarly, a corporate office or a corporate business or house has to be prepared for all contingencies which can hit their product or which can hit their reputation. In my book, I've given the examples as to how to handle such situations. If you feel my product is doing very well and doing well for last 20 years, so nothing is going to happen to me. So I would just ask, you would understand better than me, where is Kodak today? So where is Fujifilm today? These are the few things which we have to keep in mind. We have to keep updating ourselves. We have to keep evolving with time. Technology has to be absorbed. And technology is as good as yesterday. Today, there's a new thing coming in. So being prepared for any contingency will make you victorious. And same thing happened during Operation Sindoor. There were a coordination required between the military, within the three wings, the Army, Navy, Air Force, the paramilitary forces, the local police, which will do the things like rehearsals and other things. The people of the citizenry has to be incorporated. The diplomatic efforts like Indus Water Treaty and pruning down the staff in the embassies. The economic efforts, the diplomatic efforts with outside world to make sure the world opinion doesn't go against us, and still maintaining a control over the escalatory ladder. We are the only country in the world with two nuclear neighbors, and both of them are not very friendly to us. Now imagine a corporate house, which is the one which is facing two mighty products as a competition. And that corporate house has to be up and about all the time. It cannot lay back and say, okay, my product is good, it will survive. No, there are two mighty giants competing with you. Similarly, we have two mighty nuclear powers around us. Our military cannot sit on the past laurels. We have to be prepared for war of tomorrow. Always, every time. And we have to prepare for tomorrow by yesterday. Now, that is the way it works.
Wonderful, sir. I think what got us here will not get us there.
Yes.
Beautifully highlighted the importance of, diplomacy, the importance of coordination, and above all, the importance of staying prepared. Thank you for that. In continuation of that, sir, you said, with the first bullet, even the best laid plans become a casualty. So how do you prepare your teams to act decisively without waiting for perfect information?
Gaurav, there are two ways of planning. One is you keep waiting for the last bit of information, and then once you have all the information, then you make a best laid out plan based on the available information. But in today's scenario, the information which you have got today is obsolete by tomorrow because of technical and technological advancements. And as a team, how you can prepare your team is your team should be told what worst can hit us. Crisis management, in my book, I've given a chapter on this. Crisis management is the biggest thing for any leader. No, I will say no, crisis management is nothing. Navigating a crisis is the main thing. And when you navigate a crisis management is just one part of it. Suppose crisis management is you are doing something and suddenly your business is hit by a crisis. Maybe because of opponent, maybe because of natural calamity, because of market or whatever. Maybe some event which is not under your control. And you do something immediately to manage that immediate problem. And once your business is back on rolls, you say, oh my God, I managed it. But that is one part of navigating a crisis. Navigating a crisis is when your business is there, your product has gone into the market, you start visualizing how this product is going to flow in the market. How the opponent is going to grab it or grab his product and put it better than you. You start visualizing the things which can hit it. You start taking actions to avoid those accidents or incidents. Now, this is navigating a crisis. Crisis is not something which will come unannounced. If you are alive and if you're thinking and if you're always visualizing, you may not worry about the result of 100 crises. Like Sun Tzu said, know your enemy, know yourself, you have no worries. Know your enemy and don't know yourself, or know yourself or don't know the enemy, you lose every battle after a successful battle. That means your success rate is only 50%. So navigating the crisis is the way to go, especially in today's transitional and technologically advancing world, where everything is obsolete by yesterday evening.
That completely resonates with what is happening in the corporate world today, sir. Technology is moving at such a fast pace that if we were to prepare or lay out a plan based on what we saw yesterday, it would be obsolete today. So you're very right. There is no perfect information. We are in a world of information asymmetry. We are in a world of rapid change. And I guess as leaders, like you rightly said, sir, we need to train our teams to navigate uncertainty rather than prepare them for something which is predictable. So thank you for that, sir. And the next question is also a little similar, and this is more about the leader who's in the middle of this chaos. So the question is that when you're operating in chaos or what we call the VUCA world, sir, where there's uncertainty, what mental frameworks or habits do you fall back on as a leader who's in the middle of that crisis leading a team?
See, uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. Leader is always under pressure. He is under pressure from the higher ups, wherein he has a responsibility to do a particular mission at a particular time within a particular time frame and produce certain results. At the same time, his team is looking up to him to give them the guidance and at the same time protect them from the harm. So leader is a very, very, you can say, hands-on type of an approach. And the first thing which every leader has to have is a very, very calm mind. Nothing should prepare, nothing should perturb him. And here I would like to say, it's better to fail early in life. And when you are 40 years old and you are a CEO of a company, and you have 500 or 5,000 or 50,000 people working for you, and you have a family. And that is when, if you fail, and if you have never failed earlier in life, and first time you are hit with a failure at that 40 years, you won't know what to do, how to handle it. And when you don't know how to handle a situation at 40 years, it affects you, it affects your family, your wife, your children, it affects your employees, it affects your shareholders, and it affects your business and the product. But if you had failed 4 times earlier or 5 times, and when at 40 years of age, you are the same CEO, and someone walks in and says, sir, this is what has happened. You will say, don't worry, पहले बहुत बार देखा है, कर लूंगा, देख लूंगा. And that देख लूंगा by a leader gives so much of assurance to the employees and the family and the shareholders that here is a man on whom we can count. So why I'm saying this is, in the military, we have something very, very important which gives us two bigger support, and that's our families. That's our families back home, and that's our families within the unit. There is a commanding officer who's like a father. There are ladies who are supporting you. There is a senior subaltern. There are juniors who are your team. Senior subaltern is a mentor and guide. And you can walk up to them for any guidance. And you will never feel alone. Similarly, when your wife at home, your children at home, and your parents and brothers and all, when they support you in whatever you're doing, you will never feel alone. And when that support is there for those 16 hours, and when you walk into your office, you are walking as a very confident person. You're walking as a very fulfilled person. You're walking as a person with 100% of energy to give to your job, to give to the task which is at hand. And when that energy is there, your team feels energized. Your boss feels energized, your peers feel energized. So, a lot of people tell me leaders are winners. I say no. Leaders are not winners. Leaders have a winning mindset. Since he's a leader, he must have a winning mindset, and that winning mindset will rub upon his team. And the team will also start having the similar mindset, and that environment of the team would have a winning mindset all around them. And that would become the DNA of the team, and then the team will produce the winners. If the leader is not having a winning mindset, if the leader is having a confused mindset, if the leader is having an unsure mindset, the team can never be a winner. So for a leader to have a calm mind and a winning mindset are two most important things, especially when adversity hits you. That time, the leadership counts. Otherwise, when everything is going well, that in that environment, leadership is only enjoying the perks. Leadership's true test is when the adversity hits you, how calm and how clear you are at that moment would decide how your team would perform, your company would perform, your work will perform, or your family will be happy with you, or they will also be part of the confidence which you are portraying.
Thank you, sir. I think what I loved most about what you just said is about failing fast. I think most of times we teach people how to succeed, but we never teach them how to fail.
Yes.
And failure is a stepping stone to success. And it is tough sometimes to find leaders who accept failures and teach their teams to learn from failures. So I think failing fast, failing early is a great lesson for me personally in life, and I completely resonate with that thought. And secondly, sir, you said that as a leader, you always have to remain calm despite the uneasy head that you spoke about, and the support system. And being from the military, sir, I completely understand there are times when you're away from your family and they sacrifice so much for you. So when you're with them, they're a source of strength. And I think as a human being, while your job is something that can define you partially, I guess the other side, which is your friends, your family, and your faith, is something that you should always fall back upon as your support system, because that can give you the strength, like you said, of coming back fulfilled and fighting another day. So great lesson, sir, that you just called out. My next question to you was around coordination. Your operations have required cross-unit coordination under pressure. Any lessons on managing siloed teams who need to align fast? You've been a corps commander, sir, and you've been at the helm of a very, very large team with so many divisions, so many units. So, what has been your learning on coordination, sir, between teams?
And now coming to your point about coordination amongst various silos, various agencies, as a corps commander, as you rightly said, and being from the military, a corps commander has to coordinate operations on the line of control. He has to coordinate operations inside the valley. He has to coordinate with the local police, the local paramilitary forces, the intelligence agencies, the civil administration, the media, the social media, the aviation, and NGOs, and what have you. Now, in all these things, when you are the top man and you have to coordinate such diverse silos, the word which you used, in any organization where humans are there, and difference between a leader and a manager is leader leads men and women. Managers supervise projects. So managers don't have the HR, management part of their job. Whereas leader, the only job he has is to manage the human resource and keep them motivated, keep them joined together, and keep them as a team. So for a leader, when so many diverse people are working for you and you have to coordinate, the first and foremost thing to manage is the egos. Any success coming to the team does not go to only one person. We sail together, we drown together. So whatever success is coming, it should be shared. The benefit should be, or the credit should be shared equally amongst all. And the weakest person in that whole team decides the strength of your team. And I'll give you a personal example. I am a weak swimmer. I'm a good sportsman, but I'm a weak swimmer. In NDA and IMA, that's the pre-commissioned academies, 55 meters, as you would know, is the barest or minimum requirement for you to pass. You have to swim 55 meters. And that's all I had done in my life. And when I was a young lieutenant in Udaipur, I had gone to a place called Jamnagar in Gujarat to play volleyball. And as you know, officer is part of the team in the army. So we played volleyball, we won. Then my unit sent the basketball team and told me, you stay put there only and you take part in basketball also. So anyway, I did that. We won that also. And then they sent the swimming team. Third competition was the swimming. No one asked me whether I know swimming or not. And they sent the swimming team and they said there is a event 4 into 100 meters officers relay, swimming relay, and you'll be there only. We'll send 3 officers on the last day. Now, no one checked with me whether I know swimming or not. And I was a second lieutenant. I didn't also have the guts to tell someone, sir, I don't know swimming. Anyway, I had 6, 7 days. I practiced, but could never reach that 100 meters mark. And our JCO in charge of Subedar Saab of the swimming team, he was so confident. He kept telling me every day, साहब परवाह मत कीजिए, हम अपने आप जीत जाएंगे साहब, ऑफिसर टीम के पॉइंट्स की जरूरत ही नहीं पड़ेगी. And our team was good. So anyway, during the competition also, officer relay was the last event, and he kept telling me every day, "Sab koi parwah nahi hai, sab jeet rahe hain, sab first aa rahe hain, sab champion banenge." Now comes the last day, the last event. Now I had to participate. So I was changing in the changing room. The JCO comes to me, and he says, "Sab, thoda sa na ek issue ho gaya." He had a notebook in his hand with some calculations, and he says, "Sab, agar officers की team last भी आती है, तो हमें 2 पॉइंट मिलेंगे. अगर हम डिस्क्वालीफाई हो जाते हैं तो फिर 0 पॉइंट मिलेगा. एंड अगर लास्ट भी आ जाओगे तो 2 पॉइंट मिल जाएंगे, तो हम चैंपियन बन जाएंगे. अगर 0 मिलेगा तो हमारी पोजीशन सेकंड आ जाएगी ओवरऑल." नाउ ही ले द कंप्लीट रिस्पांसिबिलिटी ऑफ बिकमिंग अ चैंपियन ऑन माय शोल्डर्स कि साहब आपको ये रेस कंप्लीट करनी है. एंड व्हेन आई वेंट इनटू द पूल, द फोर्थ स्विमर, it was the last day, last event, families were there, all the officers were there. And I was struggling in the pool, and other 3 swimmers had done their bit and they had come out, and I was still inside the pool. From the audience, some children came down, they were running along with me and cheering me up. "Yes, uncle, you can do it. Yes, uncle, you can do it." Anyway, with great difficulty, I completed that 100 meters for first and last time in my life. Why I'm giving this example is that evening we had a celebratory dinner called Bada Khana. And in that Bada Khana, every one of the team was there, and people had won gold medals and broken the records of services or this, that. But nobody was complimenting them. Everyone was walking up to me and complimenting me, "Saab, aapke karan jeet gaye." Now, point I'm making is, as a leader, you have to take care of the weakest person also, the weakest man in your team, because one day he will bring you the victory. He will bring you the success. You cannot ridicule him that you don't know. So managing egos, distribution of success, and managing the weaklings are 3 most important things when you are a leader of multiple silos. Because these 3 things are human resource management aspects. Rest is management of projects. That somebody will do. So as a commander, when you walk into a unit, there should be a smile on the faces of everyone. Okay, here is a man who has come to pep me up, and he's not going to bullshit me. So as a leader, that's most important thing. You should bring smiles on the faces and not frowns. So this is how at least I handled my command in Kashmir.
Thank you, sir. I think the human element of leadership, when it comes to collaboration, bringing teams together, the leader with his human touch, it's like you're the head of the family. And when you create a culture of collaboration where people drop their egos and are willing to work for the organization and for you, I think that's the ultimate in terms of human leadership. So what a great example, sir. I also love the swimming example you gave me, because one of the things we see today in the corporate is that whenever someone doesn't perform, we just ask them to leave. But great organizations are the ones who leave no one behind,
Yes.
and they create a culture where everyone rallies around the weak link and takes them across. I think that's what differentiates great companies from the not so great ones. So great lesson, sir. I will definitely remember the swimming example for a long time to come. But wonderful example, sir. The way everyone egged you on, and you actually did 2 times what you had last done,
Absolutely.
50 meters to 100 meters. So it just shows that how much the external environment can sometimes help you to outperform. I think it's a wonderful example, sir. So the next question is, of course, more around the values that you bring out in your book. But one of the things that we all speak about in the corporate is accountability of a leader, of a team. I wanted to ask you, what does that mean to you? Because in the corporate, sir, we have a lot of KPIs, outcomes, targets, and we are all held accountable for those targets. But for you, sir, as a leader, what does accountability mean as a personal ethic?
Thank you, Gaurav. Before I come to this, from your words, since we are both from the military, we have the common terminology at times. You used a word, leaving no one behind. And again, giving an example from the book, these are our honor codes. Leaving no one behind is written nowhere in the constitution. It's not written anywhere in the army law or army act, but it is there in DNA of each and every soldier. We leave no one behind. And here I'll give an example from the Kargil war. Before the war started and the Pakistani army had intruded into one areas, and there were probing actions going on to find out as to up to which level they are there or up to what extent they are there. So a Ladakh Scout Patrol, this example is there in the book again. A Ladakh Scout Patrol led by a Subedar Saab went into a particular area and they came under heavy fire. And this Subedar Saab becomes a fatal casualty. The other team members, get separated out. And there's a young Jawan, about 3 to 4 years of service, along with that Subedar Saab. He also gets a bullet in his thigh. Somehow he survives, but the Subedar Saab is no more there. And the balance of the patrol has got separated out in that melee. Now, this young Jawan carried the dead body of his Subedar or his leader on his shoulders for 3 days and walked back to the base without communication, without food. Only thing he had was snow, and he could melt it and wet his face or wet his mouth, drink a little bit of water out of snow only. And for 3 days he carried the mortal remains of his Subedar or his leader back to the base. And when he reached the base, people asked him, why did you do? And he himself had a bullet in his thigh. And people asked him, why did you do it? And his reply was exactly what you said. He said, साहब, मुझे मालूम था अगर मेरे को कुछ हो जाता तो मेरे को ये लोग पीछे नहीं छोड़ के आते. तो ये तो मेरा कमांडर था, मैं इसको कैसे पीछे छोड़ के आ जाता, मैं पलटन में क्या मुंह लेके आता. Now, these are the honor codes. He got a Sena Medal gallantry for this. These are the honor codes. Now, the firefight is going on with the enemy or with the terrorist. Me and my buddy are safe and the terrorist is down. We are in profit. Next moment, a bullet hits me or my buddy, we go into loss. So for us, that luxury of calculating our profits and losses at the end of the quarter is not there. For a leader on field in the military, the profit loss is instant and every second. So he has to, not only when he's in an operation, when he's walking out for an operation, when he's coming back from an operation, he can be hit. His team can be hit. So he has to be alert every time to remain in the profit side of the ledger. So for a leader in the military, profit loss is not counted in terms of dollars or rupees. It's counted in terms of human lives. The human lives. And every individual has a father, mother, brother, sister, wife, children, and that immediate family of 8 to 10 people. My decision, which may result in my death or my buddy's death, would impact not only that buddy, but his immediate family of 8 to 10 people throughout their lives. His absence will be felt. And वो मेरे कंधे पे जिम्मेदारी है, मुझे उसके प्रति वफादार रहना है. I have to remain loyal to that man as a leader. I can't afford to miss out my loyalty even for a second. So military leadership ethos may be designed, developed, trained, taught, chiseled, molded, imbibed, keeping the war scenarios in mind, but they're applicable in day-to-day life in each and every corporate sector, every day of the life.
That was a very powerful lesson, sir. The first thing about accountability when you're dealing with people's lives, I think that is accountability of the highest level. Because, like you said, you're not just accountable for a small event, you're accountable for the life of a person and their extended families. So, I think that is next level of accountability. And the other point about ownership is so true with the example that you brought out for the veteran. I also personally believe that in an organization, if every employee works for the organization as if it is their responsibility and accountability, and they own the organization or are part of that organization in a true spirit of being in that organization, results, like you said, will automatically follow. So, very powerful message again, sir, with a great example. I wish we had more time, but I wanted to ask you one last question. And the question is, if you were to leave today's audience with one leadership mantra, and these days we have a lot of AI, technology, a lot of crazy things which are happening, what would that leadership mantra be?
We talked about it in the previous question. One leadership mantra which every leader must have, then he can handle every situation at the merit of the situation and the resources he has. One is he has to remain calm always and all the time. And some part of this being calm is, since you deal with humans, leaders lead men and women. Since you deal with humans, and your courage of conviction would decide the impact on lives of each and every man and woman of your team, you should have the courage to say no and conviction to say no if you feel that is not good for the organization, that is not good for the mission, that is not good for the lives of the people whom you lead. Because a strong leader who fought for you and was thrown out will have more respect than a weak leader who accepted the nonsense and took you to the harm's way. In the longer run, will have no respect at all. Even that company will lose, even the team will lose, the leader will also lose. But a man of conviction, when I say man, it's gender neutral. A man of conviction who stands up for his team, his organization, his mission, would be the most successful leader, whether physically successful or not is a separate issue. But he is a leader who would command respect of men and women under his command.
Wonderful, sir. I think no more, there couldn't be a more powerful message than saying that a leader is one who commands respect, does not demand it.
Yes.
And I think it is so well encapsulated in your book. So I would encourage a lot of people to read it. And personally, when I get my hands on it, I think everything that you spoke about today, all the golden nuggets that you brought out from your experience in the military, can be encapsulated in these three words: wafadari, imandari, and zimmewari. I think it's an extension of these three tenets and values. So once again, on behalf of all of us, sir, thank you so much for taking the time and speaking to us. It was wonderful interacting with you, sir. Thank you so much. Jai Hind, sir.
Thank you, Gaurav, and thanks a lot, and thank you all the audience. And just leave you with the one-liner. In today's world, the youngsters don't have the capacity to read big books. So I put about 2-3 pages as the last part of my book in one-liners, which the youngsters of today can identify with. And the first one-liner in that set of about 40 odd is, success does not have the option of free home delivery. You got to walk for it, you got to run for it, you got to sweat for it, and you got to reach for it. So success does not come easy. Success comes with a lot of failures, a lot of sweats, a lot of bruises, a lot of cuts. So to be successful, you got to have the resilience and the persistence. Thank you. All the very best to everyone. Be great leaders, be successful leaders, command the organization or the teams with conviction of being a good human who can lead them to success. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind, sir.